Any of their locations throughout the county. For more information, call Navy Gas and Oil at 724-437-7241.
This is the story of a 7-year-old boy from Baltimore who nagged his parents incessantly for a pony until they moved to the mountains.
I'm going to some place where I've never been before.
There, over 40 years, I learned everything I could about the farmsteading lifestyle from great mentors. Oh, and by the way, I got my pony. I named him Captain.
Welcome once again, folks. Farmsteader's Field Notes. It's finally here. We're live from the Fayette County Fair 2025. Can't believe it already. It's been a year since we did this last time. Suffered out here in the heat and the beautiful Fayette County weather. But here we are again, 101.1 FM, 590 AM. Glad you could join us also on Facebook Live, of course, and www.wmbs590.com. And I'm telling you, it's a beautiful day to be out here. It's where the rubber meets the road. All these 4-H kids are out here bringing their projects, doing their best, showing them to the best of their ability. And I'm telling you, it's been a lot of work, and finally, it's here. This is where all the preparation comes to fruition, and where the exhibitors can thrill in the victory and the agony of defeat. And I'll tell you, by the end of this week, my feats especially, the size 12s will be barking by the end of this week, just hiking around this place. It's going to be a nice weather fair for sure. We're looking forward to it. So by all means, come on out. Do your best to support our 4-Hers out here as they're doing everything they possibly can. This is going to be a long week for them. But anyway, we always talk about 4-H. That is the complete focus of what the Fayette County Fair is. The agriculture, of course, in our county. And so don't forget that 4-H is a leadership program. Mm-hmm. And so I'm here with Josh Krysek, by the way. I'm going to keep talking. These people know who I am. So I'm sorry, Josh.
It's all right. I'm just here. I'm your sidekick.
No. I want to talk to you here in a minute. But just wanted to remind everybody what show this is if they don't recognize it here on Facebook Live. But anyway, 4-H being the leadership program that it is, everybody sort of thinks that it's just about farm animals this or farm animals that, but there's a gazillion projects that go into this. 4-H, of course, the biggest program for youth in the entire country. And so if you can think of it, they can turn it into a 4-H project because it is about the leadership. And speaking of leadership, some of the biggest leaders in our country have been 4-Hers. How about President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind, Al Gore, Jackie Kennedy Onassis, Pat Nixon, Mitch McConnell, all 4-Hers. Countless governors over the years have been 4-H members. How about actors like Julia Roberts, Aubrey Plaza, Lucy Liu, Florence Henderson. How about talk show hosts? Well, me, of course. But how about Johnny Carson?
Wow.
How about Nancy Grace? Just to name a few. David Letterman. Singers like Dolly Parton, Reba McEntire, Faith Hill, Luke Bryan, Johnny Cash. Just
some of those are surprising.
Yeah.
David Letterman's surprising.
David Letterman's kind of surprising.
Yeah,
but,
that's awesome.
You think about Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash, you figured he was
that
a
makes
4-H,
some
that
sense.
One makes sense. But Johnny Carson, I guess he was from Nebraska, so that probably contributes to that. That probably goes back there. But the cool thing to think about with these 4-Hers is that they're always innovative and they're always thinking of things.
Yeah.
And some of the biggest entrepreneurs were 4-H members. How about Orville Redenbacher? How about Nancy Walton from Walmart fame? How about Michelle Manson, the founder of Asperia? So, a lot of big people. How about sports stars? Sports stars, NFL, NBA, horse racing. Bob Baffert, Triple Crown, Mr. Triple Crown. So a lot of those novelists. How about novelists like John Updike?
Okay.
How about cartoonists like Jim Davis.
Jim
Jim
Davis
does
Garfield. Yeah.
He was a 4-H'er.
Okay.
So just, a ton of people that were really involved in this program. It's just a huge program.
That's awesome.
And so, if you think about it, you can't think of a better way to start, being adult, being grown up, than having the responsibility that goes along with 4-H. Not just the animals, but there are also clubs like the Robotics Club here. There's a broadcasting club that just got started.
Oh, that's
year.
great. I love that.
I figured Josh would like that.
Yeah.
So anything you can kind of think of, they can kind of turn into a 4-H project. Anything like that. So it's wonderful to come out here and you can take a look at everything that they've got. I mean, somebody can certainly tell you if you have an interest at all in any of those clubs or anything at all. You can talk to your local extension, but you can come down here to the fair and you can get it really from the horse's mouth, because every one of these 4-H'ers, they're trained and they understand what they're doing. They understand their project from the bottom up, absolutely everything about that project. So you can ask them any single question that you can possibly imagine in your mind. You can think of it. But one of the beautiful things here, too, and Western Pennsylvania does this very, very well, is that they don't just have the 4-H'ers. They've opened it up to open exhibitors. And by an open exhibitor, I mean that's pretty much an adult or somebody that's aged out of 4-H, but they still do it. And a lot of them still do it professionally. So whenever you hear the beginning of my show when I sort of say when I learned from great mentors, that was kind of how, because a lot of the people that showed and exhibited at the fairs that I exhibited to were bigwigs in the industries that they represented. So I got to show with the big goat people and cattle people and horse people and stuff like that. So we were able to really learn from the ground up, and that's a wonderful thing. So I kudos to Western Pennsylvania, because a lot of other fairs kind of phase it out, but keeping open exhibitors. Like, say, Josh here decided he wanted to buy a dairy cow. He could bring it to the fair if he bought a dairy cow.
That's very possible.
I'm sure that's what you're planning on doing.
That could be my 2026 plan.
Your midlife crisis cow is what we'll call it.
It makes a lot of sense. It's maybe cheaper than a car. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe a little bit. But yeah, again, any project that you could possibly think of, the 4-H'ers are doing it here. Again, focusing on the leadership. These kids will be our future leaders. And at the beginning of all of their club meetings, they start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and they start off with the 4-H pledge. The 4-H pledge, of course, they pledge their head to clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living for my club, my community, my country, and my world. And they don't just say it, they don't just talk the pledge, they come here and they apply it. And I can see over here, Josh, that one of our guests.
Our very important guest is here.
VIP guest is here.
She is. If you want to come around the camera there, and we got a headset for you right here.
I wish we had another chair.
I know.
That's okay.
So we won't keep you in suspense. And first, I'm going to say real quick, we're going to shout out a few things. So obviously, Sean's been talking all about 4-H. It's an incredible program. The leadership, the mentorship. These kids are doing amazing things. They're going to become amazing adults. It's something very important to support and be a part of. If you don't know about it, you should get involved. The fair's a great place to learn about it. I'm also going to say that we see a lot of great local vendors. I'm going to give a shout out to Somerset Trust. They are set up right beside us. And as we were getting set up out here, very hot. And we were given these nice little towels that we were able to wet down and keep cool. So shout out to them. My friend Pam is over there holding down under the orange tent. So if you want to stop and visit them. But I'm also not going to keep people in suspense. We've got Sean Spiker. He is, he's the man when it comes to farm stuff. But we have the outgoing queen with us, who I told and I've said again, she's a fantastic representative for Fayette County. She's as good as it gets. Haley Bill. And look at that. When you're a queen or a reigning queen or an outgoing queen, the boss brings you a chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian. We appreciate that. Haley, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm warm and busy. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Man, it's a beautiful day out here.
Yeah. So I'm going to let Sean take over because he knows all the things to ask you. But I'm going to ask you one quick question first.
Okay.
So you just finished your year-long reign, and there's a new queen. How does it feel to have the crown off?
It's bittersweet. It's been very bittersweet. But of course, Olivia Love, the queen this year, was my princess last year, so I've grown so close with her. I wouldn't have rather hand it off to anybody else. She did an amazing job last year, and I know she will this year too. So I'm just super excited for her. And like I said, it was bittersweet, but at the same time, it's time to move on. And I'm excited to be here at the fair, as a livestock kid, and I have my pig and everything here. So I'm excited.
That's good.
It's the next
Get
chapter.
a little bit more downtime, maybe just a little bit.
Fingers crossed. I hope. It's like once one thing ends, though, something else, finds a way to keep me busy.
That's right.
Definitely. I'm looking forward. I'm heading to Ohio on the 4th after our fair, but then after that, I'm looking to sleep in a little bit.
There you go. There you go.
Well, I'm just going to start off, and I'm not just going to say this as a compliment, but it's the honest to gosh truth. Since you've been queen, and I can remember a lot. I'm not going to say how long I've been in 4-H, and I've been familiar with queens, but by far, I would say that you are easily in the top 3, and this is over like 40 years of being involved with this, that you were probably up there with the most active,
thank you,
and present fair queens.
And kind. You're a nice person. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I really am. And this is what 4-H is all about, And I'm sorry I keep stepping on you, but I do feel like we have someone really, really good here to represent 4-H in the fair.
Thank you.
Josh was like, "You're getting Haley back this year, right?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go get Haley." No. I definitely wanted to talk to you about it because you did a tremendous number of things.
Yeah.
Why don't you hit us with those? Because you did. I mean, you were very, very busy.
Yes.
Like you didn't just do the official things that a fair queen does.
Yep.
You went above and beyond. You absolutely did. Every time I flipped open my phone, there was Haley, and we weren't even friends on Facebook till the other day. And I'm flipping up. Oh, there's Haley again. And and I was like, God, does this girl sleep? It's like it's ridiculous.
That.
No, seriously. You were doing wonderful things. Please tell us about them, please.
Yes, of course. So to answer your question, I don't really sleep. It was an all-the-time thing. And I appreciate, that you guys recognize that it wasn't just a weekly thing here. For the whole year, if I wasn't maybe at an event or I wasn't, traveling around the state, it was something behind the scenes. I was planning with people, writing emails and sending letters and everything. So it really was a full-time job. But it was the best. I ended up with over 2,500 miles across the state of Pennsylvania. I know, it was crazy. And over 50 events or appearances.
Wow.
So it was a record year for sure. And like you said, media was a huge part of it. And the media marketing, I couldn't have asked for a better kind of backing and support system on that. I'm so happy that, we live in a day and age where I can put that out there and I get really good, comments and reflections on it. So the media marketing was a huge thing this year. And I think that's part of the reason that it did look like such a record year, and it was, is because all the media that we had going on. I thank you guys for that and everything, of course, all the newspapers and everything too. But on my end, I got it out there, and I'm super proud of that. But otherwise, other than the events and things, I had 2 huge projects I did. I did county blessing boxes and then a video segment highlighting agriculturalists in our county. So I traveled around for that, and that's part of the 50 appearances. So it was a great time. Always something new.
Well, tell us about the blessing boxes, because I thought this was a brilliant idea. It really was. It was definitely something you saw a need, and you went right after it, and that's part of the 4-H mantra. It's sort of like identify it and then attack it, right? Make it a project, plan it out. It's how I got my background in recording everything and writing everything down. And so, but you again, you're where the rubber meets the road. You applied it. So tell us about the blessing boxes in case nobody knows.
Of course. So it actually started way back in September. So it was really early on to my reign. And I had the big idea, I want to do one huge project while I'm queen. I really haven't seen that, I didn't think, in the past. And blessing boxes seemed like maybe the simplest, but yet biggest thing to do. And I'm not going to say I was wrong, but it was quite the undertaking. We ended up getting 5. I had donations across 2 counties, so I raised over $1,000 for these boxes, and that paid to build them and stock them. I'm still running kind of at the end of our donations here. We're going to start some drives soon. But we actually had, like I said, donations from across 2 counties, and then we had students in tech schools build them for me. So 2
That's
were
awesome.
built. It was really great. 2 were built by the Georgia Township supervisors. My dad built those, and then 2 were built by the Connellsville CTC, the carpentry students, and then 1 was built by the Fayette County CTI building construction students. So not only was I getting to kind of learn, and we made up the blueprints, and we didn't just find one. We made these blueprints up with the students, and it was just awesome. They got to learn and do the hands-on thing while they did it, and they got their hours for it. And of course, that made it a better deal for me too. You just have to donate to their shop and things, of course, because I do always appreciate them. But it really was a hands-on, everybody kind of group effort. And now we have 5 across the county. So let me try to number them off here. I have 1 at the Dunbar Library, right here, the home of the Fayette County Fair, of course. 1 at the Fairchance Borough Building, 1 at the Farmington Volunteer Fire Department, 1 at the Georges Township building, and then, oh my goodness, I'm like blanking out. Okay, Dunbar, Farmington, and 1 at the Salt Lake Township. So yes, we're looking like an hour away almost. I mean, we hit every end of the county. That's my farthest one, but my pastor actually works at the township, so she's keeping an eye on that one for me. But I really kind of wanted to hit every corner almost, and to where we could reach out to those who needed it. And as you guys know, there for hygiene items, food items, baby items has been a big thing. I'm mostly hitting on the baby and kids stuff. Some new clothes, toys for little ones, things like that, because typically whenever you do go and you find a blessing box or a book box, they're all kind of ran down, and they're old. They're ran down, and they're not always stocked, or they have your canned goods in them, which is great that there's canned goods in general, but if someone's needing the help, they can kind of almost go anywhere and get canned goods. I kind of look at it like that, in perspective of what's most needed, and what's, say, hygiene items are a little bit more costly, and baby items. So I've been really hitting on that, and it's been great. But I've been telling people, quick meals, baby meals, things like that have been a huge.
Have you seen are people keeping the boxes stocked?
Yeah. So the first one was placed in March. Like I said, it started in September, and then the boxes were placed from March to July. So they really have taken off. I mean, honestly, better than I had even expected. And they're a lot to keep up with. So that's where now I'm kind of at the point where they're all placed and they've all taken off, but I'm really needing the community to kind of, not let it be like a one-time we'll celebrate it kind of thing. We need to keep this going. So I'm kind of reaching out to the community now for a little bit of help, because they're very hard to keep up with, running off of donations, of course. I would love to help, but I'm not made of money either, know. So that's been a little bit tough, honestly, but that's what they say, it took off so good that's what I wanted, and I'm so happy that they did, and people were taking from them that needs it. I've heard, a few anonymous stories. I've seen people taking out of them, actually. It's really helping. So. And
people shouldn't be ashamed. I mean, if they're in need, absolutely, you're doing it for them.
There. Yeah.
It's just a wonderful community thing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing that you even came up with that. I mean, I can't even imagine the legwork of getting approval to put this thing here. And then, because I'm sure that's just its own can of worms, its own challenges. And let's be honest, you're going to have to be involved with this now. For this you really committed to this.
I did.
This is not just done being queen. All right, I'm out of here. No. This is gonna be something you're gonna have to at least a little bit be involved with.
Definitely.
Forever, right?
It's a huge thing. I right now, actually, a friend of mine, Todd Miner, and I are kind of organizing a drive with the Chamber of Commerce. We're going to do a hygiene drive for the Township Supervisors Convention that's here in September when this all started. It's kind of a full circle thing. So a hygiene drive for that, and then I'm looking forward to a mitten and hat drive in the winter.
That's great.
So it's a big thing. This week, obviously, I haven't really gotten to stop, but I do stop. I stop weekly. I do all the shopping for them, try to bargain on some stuff, but I do all the shopping, and then I do the routine checks and stocks. So I'm trying to keep up with them.
Have you had any people stock them on their own too? Additional. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm just thinking while we're talking, trying to find that champion in each community that can kind of take some of the load from you now that they're established too. I think that might be a nice succession plan. So
yes, and I feel like I've built such a great bond with our ag community, but community in general this past year, that I can kind of fall back on them and trust them to take care of this, because I did it, but it's for the community. It's kind of supposed to cycle and do its thing. But no, I have noticed things that I didn't put in there, or things are taken and they're put back, and it's been really great. So I'm kind of falling on the community now and hoping that it upkeeps. Fingers crossed.
Really cool idea.
Thank
Well,
you.
the closest one to me is going to be the Farmington one, so I'll have
Okay.
to stop by and check
Yeah.
it out. And if I see anything, if I'm going my way to, Walmart or something,
There you
I'm
go.
gonna pick up, and
appreciate
hopefully folks
it.
can do that too.
And I look at it kind of like if we would take $5 and say people are right now a big thing is the energy drinks. You can spend $5 on an energy drink for yourself. You can buy a pack of ramen noodles for $1.50 for a whole big pack of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
right.
I kind of look at it like that. If you have money to spend on stuff like that while you're out and about, it goes to a bigger need, and it's going to come back to you. So.
Amen, sister. I agree.
Fingers crossed,
So rewind it for us. Okay,
Yeah.
so last year we talked to you. You had just won.
Correct.
You were brand new to it. You were poised and ready to go. We said that last year.
Yeah.
So she's going to hit it running.
Yep.
We weren't wrong. You hit the ground running. But again, you picked up these projects. You made appearances, but. Again, you had to compete again. You had to compete at the state level.
I did.
Tell us about that. Tell us
Yeah.
what this your princess, now ascending to queen, what she's going to have to go through.
Yeah.
What's going to happen for her this her term,
Yeah,
let's say,
in January.
as queen.
It's definitely a lot. It's a very mentally and physically challenging competition. And then, right before Christmas, you start preparing. So I've done, everything from on-stage interview and practice. You memorize your speech and everything. So it's a very real-life scenario. You're practicing prior to. But I do have to say it was one of the most mentally challenging things I've ever done. And I almost didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Because 65 of the best women in agriculture around the state, all coming together, and of course I made so many friends there. But it was a 4-day competition, so I had everything from an on-stage introduction in front of thousands of people to a memorized speech in front of a room full of people, and then of course your essays and everything and your interview that goes into it. So Olivia has that to look forward to, but I think she'll be prepared.
Has that to look forward to.
Yeah, look forward to. She, I definitely think she'll be more prepared. She's very good with the speeches and memorizing and everything like that. She'll work for it. So I'm excited for her.
I think she's had the leg up. If she's been following you as your princess, she certainly has the leg up on that. But how long did your speech have to be when you had to memorize it?
I want to say it was 5 to 7 minutes.
5, 7 minutes?
I think it was 5 to 7.
Which doesn't seem bad until you have to do it verbatim in your mind.
And then, of course, they told us that the girls and their fair board and whoever else, you can't go in prior to, but after you've done your speech, you can come back in and watch whoever else you wanted to.
Yeah.
So, everyone else had their fair board, a couple other people, their parents in there. And then the doors open for me and I walk in and there's a room full of people lining the walls. And I was like,
Wow.
this is great. So,
But you can handle it. I've seen you with crowds. So
it was awesome.
Yeah.
People left crying. So that means I did
that's
my
a
job.
good thing. Well, I think, too, that it goes back to something Sean and I talked about after you won last year, too. What I think the reason that you set yourself apart a lot is your ability to just talk like a normal person.
Yeah.
And I think that that's part of what maybe some people get so nervous and caught up in there. I got to say this, I got to say that they forget to just be normal, too.
Just be normal and chillax. And I always say, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world.
That's right.
Of course. I started public speaking actually in 2021 here with 4-H in the
There you go.
communications contest. So,
Surprise, surprise.
I mean, before that, yes, you would have never told me that I'd go on stage in front of 4,000 people.
And now look at you.
Yeah, so it was just, that was kind of the kickstart to it all. And but it was a great competition. It was a great day, with the fair board. And we saw the fair convention. So I actually got to witness firsthand our fair kind of start to come to life when they were picking the acts and contracts and everything. So that was one of my favorite parts for sure.
Well, you just sort of nailed it because I can't tell you how many people in the 4-H program, not even just as a 4-H'er, but also as a leader, where you have these kids that come in and they come in, mom brings 3 kids in and they're sort of standing there in the corner and you're like, oh, get involved and they don't, necessarily want to.
Yeah.
And then, they sort of panic because I don't know how your 4-H program was, but with our 4-H program, we had to do at least one sort of, not necessarily like a speech, but you had to get up in front of a presentation.
We have those still, yep.
Okay, a presentation at least once a year,
Yep.
where you didn't even have to talk about the project area. You could pretty much, when you were very young, you could talk about anything.
Yeah.
We sort of started how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you, as you progress on, we sort of tightened it up and said, okay, now you have to talk about your specific project area.
Yeah.
And now, but by the time they get to your age, I mean, it's like this kid that walked in that was so terrified terrified to even talk to you, is standing up in front of an entire crowd,
Yeah.
Right.
and is
Right.
belting it out there. And
That's
then
what 4-H does.
that's
Yeah,
what
it's great
and
for
the parents are telling me, well, now my kid's doing the production of Pippin at the in high school, and you're like, what?
Yep.
Derek's doing Pippin.
Yep.
I mean, all these crazy things that they would have never done.
Yeah.
Like you said, without the 4-H program, they wouldn't have done them. So, again, you're a testament to that as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
That's just part of the thing. So, if you wanted to be the fair queen, what were some of the stipulations? What were some of the things that got you in the door to begin with? What did you have to do to enter? Was there that much, or was it just like, no, if you feel like you can do it and you're involved in agriculture and you're this age?
Yeah, it's 16 to 20, so of course, it's helpful to be involved in agriculture. There's a part on the application, your ag involvement, things like that. Of course, it's going to help you at the county fair. But girls have ran where they really don't have much, or maybe they're with the fair on more the arts side, different things like that. So if that's still a part of agriculture. So if you love our fair and you're here for ag, you're more than welcome to compete. There's really no stipulations. A lot of people will say you have to be in 4-H, because a lot of counties will do they'll send a county FFA or 4-H representative from different chapters and things. We don't do that. So if you think you can do it and you love our fair, then that's all it takes, and you give it your all.
Great.
You have just as good of a chance as anybody else there does.
It's awesome. So if you had to look back, we talked about some of the big things. What is there one or two highlights that stand out for you, like days that you're like, wow, that was awesome? Other than what we've already talked about, were there any events that you went to that you're like, wow, this is really cool, or other fairs that you were able to guest at that you're like, that was really neat too? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I traveled to 8 other fairs across the
This is
state.
what you had said. I heard you say that in another interview.
Yeah, so I did 8 different fairs. As far as Somerset, different things like that, Westmoreland, Washington. And while I was kind of impressed, of course, everyone's biased to their home fair because it's where they grew up. But truly looking from an outside perspective, no one realizes how lucky we are for the Fayette County Fair. I mean, every time I would come home, it just seemed more and more grand than the one I had just been at the night before.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, Olivia and I really enjoy the rodeos as well. We loved the Bullskin Rodeo. That was always a good time. Another one that I really enjoyed was we went to Quarter Pine Tree Farm out in Smithfield and got to hang out with Santa for the day and kids. And got to see everyone getting their Christmas trees.
See, that's the fun stuff.
Yes,
you
that
get
was
to be
a good
queen
time.
and that with Santa.
And I'm pretty sure it was 15 degrees out, but it was
still had fun,
it was
though.
freezing, but
Yeah.
it was awesome. It was so much fun, and every event had something special about it, or appearance, something special that I just took with me, and I enjoyed it all. Sometimes people ask is there one challenge or one thing you didn't like, and there really isn't. I loved it all.
That's awesome. That's a great attitude.
So I know I'm never supposed to ask a lady her age,
Oh God, here we go.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 17. I'll be 18
You're
in November.
17. So you are still
Unbelievable.
4-H age.
I am.
And so you
Yep.
are still eligible to show in 4-H.
Yep.
It's 18, if I'm wrong, tell
Yep.
me. 18 as of January 1.
Yep.
And so you're still eligible this year, and you might be eligible next year too.
Yep. I have
That's
that.
awesome.
It's kind of like the extra year, but it's not. You either
Right.
start early or end late.
Right,
Which wouldn't really have mattered to me because I didn't start in 4-H till 2021 anyways. So I'm thankful that
Okay.
my birthday does fall in November.
Yeah.
I have that extra year.
Okay.
But yeah, so I do have this year, next year.
Okay, so what projects did you do this year? First of all, I'll ask you that. What projects did you do this year for the Fayette County
Yeah,
Fair?
so this year I have a market hog.
Okay.
Delta, she's in the hog barn right now. She's my best friend.
It's so
Uh-oh.
it's
I
so
know.
dangerous to
Don't
name
start.
the
God.
terminal animals. But go ahead.
I know.
I'm sad already, and I'm not even better.
Poor
So,
Delta.
oh my goodness!
Okay,
It's
go
like
ahead.
Delta Dawn. We go.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know Liam Kiefer. We all go sing Delta Dawn to her.
I know the song.
She is. She's amazing. She taught me a lot about being a stockman. Last year I had a little bit of a rough year. I had a sassy pig. So this year I had my pig broke in 5 days. So I was proud of that. She taught me
That's
how to be a
impressive.
stockman. I've learned so much. But she's great. So we're showing her tomorrow night. Or not tomorrow night. It's tonight.
Tonight.
I'm getting my days mixed up now. It's tonight.
Yeah.
And then I have a pen of market broilers in the poultry barn, which I just
Okay.
showed. That's why I'm wearing this. So we're going to go back and get results here in a minute for that. And then it's on a project, but at home I have some dairy goats. So next year we're looking to enter them and show them under FFA. So, but as this year, it was just the poultry and my swine production.
Awesome,
Yep.
awesome. I'm glad to hear about the dairy goats.
Yes, they
Co-chairman
are.
over here.
They're awesome.
but it's good. I'm glad you enjoy them because and you're the kind of person that can deal with dairy goats.
Yeah.
Because they're 365 days a year.
Yeah.
And if you actually are milking, that's twice a day.
Yep.
And I mean they are a commitment.
They are.
And they're a tough project. But
I'm looking
if
forward
anybody
to
can
it,
do it,
yeah.
you can do it. I know
Thank
you can for
you.
sure. So that's awesome. I did want to mention you brought up the broilers.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that? I'll let you tell us about that. I was going to say it, but you tell us about how you can bid on those because those aren't traditionally dealt with through the auction on Friday night. Why don't you tell us how we can bid on a broiler pen or a pen of rabbits?
Or a pen of rabbits,
Okay.
yeah. I'm allergic to rabbits, so I'm kind of sounding sick now, so I couldn't tell you that much, baby.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's been a rough morning. But as far as the broilers, unfortunately, like every other county in Pennsylvania, they're not in our livestock sale.
Right. Avian
They're not considered
influenza.
livestock
Right.
here. Yeah, so they're only on grounds for today, and then tomorrow morning they'll get, actually brought them in this morning, and tomorrow morning they'll get sent to the butcher, of course. But so today they did the judging on them this morning. We showed them and everything else. And then the silent auction in the poultry barn will open immediately today following the show results and everything.
Good.
So that's like, like I said, a silent auction. You'll go get a bidder number. There's always someone sitting at the auction table in the poultry barn. And then Friday for the livestock auction, we're actually going to be down. We'll have a table set up on the petting zoo side of the EQT arena. So over there, you'll see us. I think we're going to put some signs up and stuff. You can also, and they'll announce it, but you can also bid on them there through the silent auction, and that ends at 8 p.m. Friday. So they'll be open until Friday. We'll be down there, and hopefully that's where we get a lot of traffic at.
Well, that's good to point out because even if you're not here Friday night for the actual auction itself or when it closes, throughout this week, you can go to the poultry, mostly rabbit, because as you said, the poultry's not here again, which is such a shame because this avian influenza outbreak thing. But at any rate, they'll be there. You can bid anytime.
You can have people bid for you too. Yeah. I mean, if you want to, come in the morning and you want to say put down $100 on a pen, and then you have to go home or something. When you have that bidder number, say your sister's out here or something, they can write down for you if you want to outbid.
That's good.
Because it is kind of a challenge competition ordeal, which I love.
Yeah.
People oftentimes think that once they bid, they get outbid, they're done. If you're willing to help the kids and raise your bid, then you can have someone do it for you if you can't be present.
That's awesome. So I know we keep coming back to all the fair stuff, but now that I know 17 almost done, what is Haley Bill's future? What are you planning to do? What are you thinking about?
I didn't ask that, John.
I did.
That's
I didn't ask that.
okay.
You got to be thinking.
The most
stuff.
interesting people in the world do not know what they're going to do at 17 years
That's
old, Josh.
fine.
But
She
anyway.
doesn't have to know, but what are her ideas? What are her ideas?
Well, it's really funny because I have a really good idea and no idea at all at the same time.
I got you.
I'm in a really odd spot. After I took a year off, I was working as a greenhouse laborer, and then I had to quit my job to be fair queen and travel all year. So after this year is kind of a blackout year, but I'll be a senior at Albert Gallatin High School, and then I also go to the Fayette CTI, study ag production there. So that definitely helps me with a leg up on everything. But afterwards, so whenever I said I'm going to Ohio on the 4th, as soon as our fair ends, we're headed to the Ohio State Ag Institute in Worcester, Ohio, to tour the ag college up. It's its own campus, and I'm really looking into it. I think I'm going to commit in person.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm hoping to commit in person because I can get an associate's in livestock production and management in only 2 years. And they'll place me an internship in between those two that summer.
Okay.
So
two things. One, our boss, who's right over there, Brian Monroe's ex-station manager, he is an Ohio State alum.
Okay,
so
go
that's
Buckeyes.
one.
Yep.
So two, I don't know how we just settle. I don't know how we can work it in, but you just brought up an internship, and I know it's going to be very agricultural focused. But if you want an internship for us, we will find a job for you. We would take you in a heartbeat. I'm just throwing it out there. Keep it in your back burner.
Thank you.
There you go.
I love the
the marketing side of it too. That was very princess-like. It was very small. If I would have sneezed,
I don't want to get everybody.
Everything would have come down.
No, but I love the whole media and marketing thing.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
If you had interest in it, I'm just saying. So but it's really exciting. I love the fact that you are taking what you've been passionate about as a teenager on to the next step. And I think that's Sean, I'm sure, can speak to it too, but that's the kind of engagement we need to have for our farms to be successful, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what we need.
It's been great. And it's kind of weird because, I didn't grow up as a livestock kid. I started 6 years ago into livestock and things. But since then, I feel like I've studied it so hard and gave it my all that it's all I've ever known. So it's weird, most kids will bounce around from like, oh, they want to be a nurse and a cosmetologist, things like that,
Sure.
Which is great. But this is all I've ever known, and it's kind of still all I know. So I'm super excited, to go out and see what it's about. And I think I'll end up committing on the 4th.
That's exciting.
To it. To minor in swine production. I would like to, though, come back actually and be a regional traveling herd nutritionist. So that way I'm kind of wanting like a 9-to-5 home base, but I also...
but you can still get dirty that way.
Yeah, still get around. And in my hometown, in Fayette County, it's our leading industry is agriculture, but there's a few amount of jobs for what I'm kind of wanting to go into. So I'm hoping if I can travel, our surrounding counties and things, but still have a home base, that'd be awesome.
That's exciting. I love that plan.
I think this was one of the more depressing things about us losing the Fayette campus of Penn State.
Yes.
Yeah,
is that a lot of the ag kids even had the option of doing like a 2-year
2-on-2.
thing.
I was a Penn Stater at heart. I had full intentions. I had a Fair Queen scholarship to the Eberly campus. And of course, I'm a year too young, so I had full intentions of going to Penn State 2-on-2, and then I was actually going to even do 2 at Beaver and 2 at Maine whenever they shut down. And it just at that point, I think that it happened for a reason, for me at least, because it's like I said, it's all I've ever wanted to do is go to Penn State. But once that happens, I thought it was the end of the world. What do you do now? Like next year, I have to apply this fall. Like what am I going to do? And then the Ohio State ATI came up as I was researching, and the more I thought about it and kind of felt around to what I actually wanted to do, I at this point in my life, I can't see going to school for 4 years. I want to get back. I want to get my degree and get started in the industry, making money, and then of course I can always go back, which Ohio State's really great for, helping you further your education.
Sure.
But yeah, it kind of happened for a reason, I think, in Ohio State. That's been a blessing just to find. I'm super excited to go tour, but I hope it's what's in my, next chapter for 2 years. I think that'd be pretty cool to come back and get started right away.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, and it's hard. And I know you're involved with, other associations and things, and it's kind of hard when you see in our agriculture community that it's getting to be senior citizens in agriculture, and that it's very few comparatively very few youngsters coming up through it. So again, like what we were saying with Fayette campus disappearing, we hate to lose anybody for even a couple years, any length of time, but do you have any suggestions? Do you have any ideas beyond what we're doing, because you are still young, that we can do to entice younger people to get into agriculture, to make it cool again? Do you have any ideas?
That's another big thing with how we were kind of talking about earlier, like the social media and the marketing kind of end of it. If you notice,
don't
I
let
don't
him pressure
know.
you into working for WNBS. But
That's okay. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, see, she's excited about it. Don't start with me, Sean Spiker.
If that's the answer, that's the answer. Okay,
And plus,
go ahead.
you would like having her around. You're not going
that's a
anywhere.
fact,
So
that's a fact.
anyway, go ahead.
But no, even maybe not so much in our county, but across the country, agriculture and the Western lifestyle is kind of trending right now.
Yeah.
So I think that that's playing a huge role into maybe getting some new people into it, getting livestock kids into it. But we also need to show people too that it's not just your livestock and your farm animals, even though I'm biased to them. That it's everything. We need herd nutritionists, we need butchers, we need everything.
Yes.
So scientists behind the scenes. I've done legislative tours at United Dairy, and they have scientists and they're testing the milk.
That's
so
amazing.
It's awesome, and there's
And people
so
don't
much.
know that.
They never
They
would
do not know it.
They
Yeah.
think that you have to be in a barn all the time and dirty, and I enjoy it, but not everyone does. So I think that if our county particularly is doing a terrific job of kind of helping us out with that and getting youngsters up in. Look around our barns, there's kids everywhere. But keeping them into it and not, I hate to say it, but ag is one big industry that with a high burnout rate.
Yes.
It's very, very easy to get burnout in agriculture. So I think that if we just keep people excited and keep them, looking forward to the future, then we'll be all right, especially here in Fayette County.
You make a great point. It's a hard sell. It's a hard sell, Josh, to say, okay, now let's give you something that you're going to go out and you're going to work your tail off
it's a 365
and barely
day
make money on it.
Right.
And that's a hard
There has to be
sale.
passion there.
Yes.
Yep.
And new people, it's one thing to be a legacy. It's one thing, like she said, she's brand new to it, to the agriculture world. In concept of generationally, she's new to it.
First generation.
But first generation. And but if you don't inherit something,
it's very tough.
It is super tough to get started in this.
It's tough.
Land is going
Yeah,
is
it's
becoming
bananas.
It is, and it's becoming a parking lots and strip malls faster than you can. But so to get involved in it at all is going to be very hard.
It is.
Convincing people to stick with it is even harder once they try it.
It is.
So
it's hard work, and it's something that you do. I couldn't say that if I didn't have the passion, I don't think I'd still be putting all forth everything. But I do love it so much, and of course you almost have to have a normal job to be a farmer too, and that kind of backfires on the farmers and myself at least. I sell pork and poultry year round to local consumers, and it's tough. You barely break even, for all the work. We're loading pigs in a blizzard, and I tell everyone, if you don't like my price, you can go chase a pig around in the snow, and keep them alive in the winter. So you do, and it just, that's another thing where the community comes into. They have to be willing to see the background and willing to support. The farmers aren't trying to whack anybody on it. They want to make it fair for everybody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we can't go broke over you not wanting to, you can go to the grocery store and get it for cheaper, but if you know where it's coming from and you know the person behind it.
And Sean preaches this every week, and it's one of the reasons why I love his show. But also, our farmers markets in the area are continuing to grow.
They're awesome.
And doing a great job at saying, this is important to support farmers, but also to be healthy.
They're such good advocates. I know the one at least in Bailey Park.
It's fantastic.
I was there selling little stuff like years ago, and we had a few little vendors. But since then, I'm so impressed. They've all taken off. I know there's some in Brownsville, Connorsville. So they and
even
I
up on the
know
mountain.
the Farmington has one. So I know people even that are working really hard to make more and make it a bigger deal. So that's one of the really cool things to see, and just my generation now is coming up. So
that's where the investment comes back, because there's my generation, and I always just go to the store and get what I need. But once you taste the difference, see the difference, and know you're helping to make a difference,
you have to trust it first.
It's worth it, though. It's worth it to spend double on your produce to know how good it is and to know that it's clean.
You'll never go back. That's
you
won't. You will look forward to spring. You will look forward to going to them. You once you have ham. Sorry, Delta. Once you have ham, raised, locally, and you actually taste it as opposed to what, and even when you see it, like when you see it,
there's different looks to everything.
You're like, is that how ham is supposed to actually look? Is that it has a taste? Like I didn't know for years that ham had, it's just this blah pink meat. Whenever you buy it at the the superstore, you get it off the farm. It's much darker. It's much richer. You taste exactly the region where they were eating it from. You can tell. You can tell my pigs that don't even stay in a pen, which is why I'm so impressed that she's getting the thing to walk around with.
She's amazing.
Mine can't stay in a pen. Mine can't stay in a pen, but yours is listening to music, and it has its own celebrity following.
Delta Dawn, she has her own following. That's right.
Everyone listen to Delta Dawn today for good luck.
That's right.
And bid Friday heavily on Delta Dawn. Anyway, but just to see that, just that difference locally, and it's absolutely it's mind-boggling. You have no idea.
It's funny you say that, actually, because I was talking about raising pigs year-round. Obviously, Fair Queen, I didn't have a normal full-time job, so I was farming on the side and photography on the side. But I had one pig named 650. I hauled him from Reading, and he came in. He was a mean son of a gun. It was a love-hate. He was all right, but he was right in time. He was my Christmas pig. So whenever it came time, I said, I'm going to split them up into sausage and hocks and ham. I'll have hams if anybody wants them. People were like, "Is it a fresh ham?" And I said, "Yes." So thinking it's a fresh ham. He was alive 2 days ago. Like, now it's on your table. Yeah, this is fresh as it gets. But a few people were wondering. I actually had them smoked at the butcher because if somebody now was sitting here and would have a real fresh ham, it would taste terrible to them. It'd be different, But anyway, so I had it smoked and then froze and everything. And they're like, "Well, this isn't fresh." And I was like, "Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? It's as fresh as it gets. Just because it's smoked, it's not fresh. Because if I gave you a fresh ham, like what you think is at the store, that's smoked too. But if I gave you a fresh ham, you would never buy from me again. You know what I mean? So not that it's not good and it's not.
They've never experienced it.
Yes, people don't know. They think that it tastes funny because of what it is. But then my grandparents actually then took a half ham off of me and we had him for Easter. So that was fun, but it was I thought that was important for me, to try my own stock and see the full circle of it. But that's funny you say that about being fresh and stuff, because it's people, they just don't know what to expect now, and that's why it's so
You're
important,
exactly
I think, to
That's
you know,
it.
keep buying local, so we kind of evolve to this taste of things,
The
and we can
span of
keep.
time from where this is being shipped, even foreign countries, it's insanity to me.
It's terrible.
And it comes here and
Preservatives,
And
oh
you're,
my.
you know, you say fresh, but like you said, I mean, it's probably been on a 3-week journey since it
Yep.
was butchered.
Since,
and then
yep.
I mean, just the
And in mass slaughterhouses too, you don't know how long it's taken to get through. I
absolutely.
mean, I can guarantee my pigs go to the butcher house and come out, you know, the next day, and
Yeah.
they're hanging up and they're done. So
Yeah.
I've done internships or shadow day on federal kill floors. I thought it was really important to see too, you know, what's happening behind the scenes. Am I trusting these people to deal with my stock and to give to my consumer? And it's a really great experience, and that kind of ties in too to, you know, versus your commercial slaughterhouses and things. And that's of course all local too.
So, as usual, Sean's hour is the fastest hour in showbiz. We've got like a minute and a half left, Sean. That's all we've got. So,
Well, all right. Well, I'll ask you the most trivial question I've asked you today. What is the fair food that you look forward to? Because Krysak over here has been talking about it, I swear, for 3 weeks. On every show.
we got beans, greens, hogs, dogs, potatoes,
Easy.
potatoes.
Everything.
What is the one thing you were looking forward to eating here at the Fayette County Fair?
Gosh, I don't know. I always go to the local, like the
Me
local
too.
places where I don't really go to the carnival
Me
food
too.
side.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm partial to Maryland's. I like Maryland's. I made the gnocchi, of course. So
Okay.
that's kind of what I live off of the week. I haven't had it yet. It's been too hot for that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so Jackson's ice cream. Looking
Oh,
forward to
yeah,
that
for
too. You
sure.
know, yeah. I'm just
Okay.
looking down the row here.
Okay, Josh, your turn.
Oh, so I love Maryland's too. It's so
Yes.
good. But I love Almer sausage.
Okay.
So
Almer
good.
sausage.
Almer sausage. And I also, last year, kind of got hooked on those Red Bull refreshers right there at High Gear Coffee.
I've heard they're good. I've
They
never
are
had
good.
one.
They'll give you a little pep in your step. That Delta will be like,
I
"What's
need
up with
one this
you?
week."
You're all
Yep.
wound up."
Yep.
I'll be hitting the pie shop. That's
Yeah.
my favorite.
There you
thing.
go.
That's a good one.
It's going to be my big one. So,
do.
are we out of time, Josh?
Yeah, we're just about out of time. You
We're
want to?
just about out of time. I guess we'll put it all together here. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Haley,
Thank
for
you guys
joining
for
us
having me.
again.
Yep.
We just can't say how wonderful we think you were, and
Thank
as
you.
queen, and we just know it's going to be big things for you in the future. It's absolutely
Thank
great.
you. Maybe
Yep.
I'll see you guys next year.
Sounds good.
Maybe.
We would love to have
I
you.
think we just had a sales pitch here. Anyway, thank you for joining us here again. Farmsteader's Field Notes here at the Fayette County Fair. Instead of going to that Coldplay concert, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, if you happen to see my buddy Dave there at the Coldplay concert, remind him there's a Jumbotron. Okay. So anywho, but we'll see you next time here, next Tuesday, 11:15. Don't forget, stay tuned for CBS News of this hour. Thank you.